Good morning. Today is Tuesday, 27th February 2018. I'm Kenny James. These are the top stories. Nationally, concerns over operations at the Electoral Office continue to loom. Internationally, the U.S. Supreme Court has refused to hear Trump's bid to end DACA. And in sports, Usain Bolt will play a celebrity football match at Old Trafford. We'll also have a look at today's updated weather forecast and current update. And now for a look at the news in detail. Honorable Marcella Liebert is urging the public to be vigilant and become aware of operations at the Electoral Office in the face of allegations that persons continue to be denied the right to register to vote. SKN News Now has confirmed that persons have in fact visited the Electoral Office and have been denied their right to register to vote for a variety of reasons not covered by electoral laws or the Constitution. Ms. Liebert is insisting that this is being done deliberately and is part of a plan which will see hundreds of persons' names removed from the register of voters.
You have to be vigilant. You have to be vigilant. Check out the lists wherever you live. Get people to register. Go to the electoral office and check out to see what's happening in that office. Only tonight, someone told me that a gentleman went there today to register. He is not born in St. Kitts, but he has a right to be registered because he qualifies. And some girl in there tell him, hey, I'm from here, so he come in there to register for. And they refuse to register him. And this is not the first time that we are hearing these stories. This is not the first time. A young lady told me that it's 3 times now they have sent her back and said she can't register.
Yep.
3 times. We have to sound the battle cry because that gentleman who went in there today must register. And that young woman, she has to register. And so we have to sound the battle cry because what is happening is they're breaching all of the laws in there, doing whatever they want, because they intend to take off hundreds of names as they have done before, hundreds more names of that list. People, you have to be vigilant. Check to make sure your name is on the list, your family's names are on the list, your friends' names are on the list. If all of us do our part, we will be successful. We all need to pull our weight. And so I'm appealing to you because the Electoral Office, lots of shenanigans going on there.
And although it is unlikely to change with elections only 2 years off, Ms. Liebert continues to express concern over the fact that the Attorney General and Minister of Justice and Legal Affairs, Honorable Vincent Byron, is also the minister responsible for the Electoral Office. The attorney says this represents a definite conflict which affects the public interest and which persons should be aware of.
The Attorney General, he is supposed to be the minister with responsibility for the Electoral Office. How is that possible? How can you have an Attorney General being the minister responsible for the Electoral Office? That is a serious conflict of interest, a very serious conflict. Because if you have a problem with the Electoral Office or anything in there, and you have to sue the Attorney General, then he advises himself. He is supposed to be the one advising the Electoral Office, not being the minister for it. So it's a serious conflict of interest. And the Attorney General must be removed as the minister with responsibility for the Electoral Office. Because that is a very, very serious conflict of interest which should not be allowed to continue. Else you can always have these conflicts.
In light of recent changes to the Vehicles and Road Traffic Amendment Act, drivers are being cautioned by police to ensure that they travel with their license as a request can be made to produce it at any time. According to the Act, drivers are expected to produce their driver's license immediately for examination upon the request of any member of the police force. Officers can ask to see it in order to ascertain the name, address of the holder of the license, as well as the date of issue of the license. This being the case, drivers will have to ensure that their licenses are always valid. A driver can face a fine of up to $250 if they fail to produce their license upon request. Driving without a valid and unexpired driver's license also comes with a fine of up to $250. Additionally, holders of temporary driver's license are now required to produce both their temporary driver's license and their foreign driver's license or a valid photo identification if it needs to be examined by a member of the police force. They too can face a $250 fine if they fail to comply. On the international scene, the U.S. Supreme Court has dealt a blow to attempts by President Donald Trump to end protections for undocumented immigrants who entered the country as children. It refused to hear a plea by the Trump administration to end the Deferred Actions for Child Arrivals DACA program while it makes its way through the appeals court. Kimberly Halkett reports.
It's an issue that has divided Americans for years. The Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA program, was put in place by President Barack Obama. It allows hundreds of thousands of young immigrants brought to the U.S. illegally as children to live and work in the United States. Trump wanted to end it and planned to start phasing out the program in March, raising the threat of deportation for many of the so-called dreamers. But last month, 2 federal judges blocked that, saying it needs to go through the legal system. So the Trump administration tried to bypass the federal appeals courts by taking it to the country's highest court. On Monday, the Supreme Court refused to hear the case while it makes its way through the appeals courts. The administration is appealing lower court rulings to the Ninth Circuit, the same court that blocked the president's controversial travel ban that would deny entry to people from mostly Muslim-majority countries.
It's really sad when every single case filed against us is in the Ninth Circuit. We lose, and then we do fine in the Supreme Court. But what does that tell you about our court system?
The Supreme Court announcement is a victory for roughly 700,000 dreamers.
Senator, how are you doing?
For months, they've been demanding Congress act to protect them from deportation, but Congress has failed to come up with a solution. The White House says it's not giving up. But that legal process could take months, leaving the ultimate fate of dreamers uncertain.
And now we take a look at sports. Usain Bolt will finally make his footballing debut at Old Trafford. The 8-time Olympic gold medalist will captain a team of celebrities and footballers for the soccer match on the 10th of June. It's my dream to make it as a professional footballer. To play against some of football's biggest legends is going to be remarkable, the Jamaican sprinter said. Robbie Williams will captain rivals England for the UNICEF match. Usain has spoken previously about wanting to get into professional football after retiring from athletics last year, and over the weekend he put out a tweet which led to much speculation, hinting he'd be signed to a club. The Soccer Aid game at the team's home ground will see celebrities and former world-class footballers playing together on the same team. The event, which takes place biannually, has raised £24 million to help children since its launch in 2006. The match has seen the likes of footballers such as Maradona, Alan Shearer and Ronaldinho play alongside celebs like Mark Wright, Jack Whitehall and Ollie Murs. Willie Ferrell, Gordon Ramsay, Mike Myers and Craig David have also played in previous years. And now we take a look at today's weather. Today conditions will be mostly cloudy with a high or 70% chance of showers. Tonight will be partly cloudy to cloudy with the chance of showers remaining high. Winds are east-northeast at 5 to 12 miles per hour over land and increasing to near 14 miles per hour over coastal waters. Seas are slight to moderate with heights 1.5 to 1.8 meters or 5 to 6 feet. Sea bathers should continue to exercise caution. Sea level pressure is at 1016.4 millibars or 30.01 parts of an inch. The sun will rise tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. and set today at 6:17 p.m. That item brings us to the end of the SKN News Now morning edition. Now for a recap of today's top stories. Nationally, concerns over operations at the electoral office continue to loom. Internationally, the U.S. Supreme Court has refused to hear Trump's bid to end DACA. And in sports, Usain Bolt will play a celebrity football match at Old Trafford. Thanks for tuning in for another SKN News Now presentation. I've been your presenter, Kenny James. Stay tuned, Carib Update comes up next.